Good evening. This is May the 9th, and after a long absence from YouTube, I'm finally back in business, and I'm showing you my up-to-date grow room. I kept this grow room going all winter, mainly just to keep a few clones, which you're looking at two right now. This is a big beef that was last summer clone, and this is another big beef from last summer. These actually grew to the ceiling this winter, and I eventually cut them back, and they're coming back on again real strong. In fact, they're growing too fast. They're about 18 inches tall now. I'm afraid they might take off and get up to the ceiling again, but I'm hoping with a little luck, a little good weather, that I'll have the plastic on my greenhouse and I'll be able to move them right out there and let them go. I have several, I have 9 Dutch buckets in here altogether, and they're just more or less jury rigged up. I only got 1/2 inch PVCP pipe, which is adequate to drain these Dutch buckets into a 5-gallon bucket. And all I do is 3 or 4 times a day I take one of these measuring cups and fill it up, dump it in here, and it works just fine. What you're looking at now is a yellow beefsteak. Never had this before. Actually, it's called a Kentucky beefsteak, but it is a yellow variant. I have several of those plants ready to go. And you're looking here at some more hot peppers. I did really great with my ghost peppers last year, and believe me, they were hot. I ate a few, but I surely wouldn't recommend somebody that has a weak stomach try them. Now, what you're looking at here is a Trinidad scorpion. This plant's about 6 inches tall. I've never had it before. It's supposed to be as hot as a ghost pepper. We'll find out. Here is another variant of a hot pepper. This is actually called a Naga Viper. It is a cross between a Trinidad scorpion, ghost pepper, and one other pepper. This is an English pepper. I have 4 of these plants. It also is supposed to be very hot, just a step or 2 behind the ghost pepper. Here are some golden jubilees. These were one of my best tomatoes last year. They're actually a cherry tomato, but it's a big cherry, probably inch and an eighth. They're yellow and heavy bearers. Just off of 4 plants, I had at least 700 cherry tomatoes, and possibly 1,000. Here's another Trinidad scorpion that I have transplanted. Here's up here on top is some Rutgers that I need to be getting transplanted, perhaps this weekend. I've always considered Rutgers one of the better eaten tomatoes, even though it's a standard when it comes to canning. They're a small tomato, but they have excellent flavor. Right here you're looking at one of last year's ghost peppers. It actually died off late in the winter, and I'd almost give up on it, but I noticed the stalk was still green, so I just kept a little water on it, and then spring rolls around and suddenly I noticed some leaves popping up, and sure enough, it's doing just fine. Now, here is another ghost pepper. And I don't know if you can quite make it out. There's little leaves popping up out of this. Now both of these ghost peppers are in dirt buckets. Surprisingly, the ones I had in deep water culture didn't make it through the winter. They did have a huge yield. One of my best ghost pepper plants probably had around 100 ghost peppers on it. This grow room has been a lifesaver for me. I moved plants in back in late September, and I actually harvested bell peppers up to about Thanksgiving and hot peppers right into December. If you'll notice, I've probably added more lights. I've got several large CFLs ranging from 300 to 400 watt equivalents, and I have two color spectrums which pretty well covers it. And I also have my high pressure sodium. This is a small high pressure sodium, only 150 watts. I believe this is the smallest one you can get, but it still puts out a lot of heat, a lot of light, a lot more lumens per bulb than your CFL. Now I will not be using this in the summer because it just puts out too much heat in here. I relied a lot on this high pressure sodium to provide heat in this grow room, because there's no other heat in here other than residual heat that comes from my house. Now I will be moving these plants outdoors very shortly, and I will not be needing any of these lights, at least not until next fall. But because of this little grow room, which is about 6 foot by 5 foot, I was able to harvest some pretty good vegetables in here right on into early winter. That's all today, folks.